know what it is, man. Shout out to Fry Time Media.
Fry Time Media.
Make sure you go subscribe. You did.
Fry Time Media, baby.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Time Media. Smash the subscribe and the like button.
I done ran up all these bands, up in hand and made like 5 bands a day. I was broke, came up with a plan, now I'm the man, there ain't no stopping me. I done ran up all these bands, up in hand and made like 5 bands a day. I was broke, came up with a plan, now I'm the man, there ain't no stopping me. It ain't no stopping me. Got bands, I'ma run it up, it ain't no stopping me. I was broke, came up with a plan, now I'm the man, it ain't no stopping me. Got bands, I'ma run it up, it ain't no stopping me.
Yes, sir. Welcome back, land lovers and history buffs. Today, we're embarking on a journey through time to uncover how foundational Black Americans went from owning expansive acres from sea to shining sea to today, barely owning enough land to plant a tomato garden. We'll dig into the roots of land loss, explore the tangled vines of heirs property, unearth the impact of the Dawes Act, and examine how eminent domain has paved over Black communities. So grab your shovels, let's get digging. The Dawes Act explained. First up, the Dawes Act of 1887, a piece of legislation that was about as friendly to the Native Americans as a porcupine in a balloon factory. This act aimed to assimilate Native Americans by dividing communal lands into individual plots, with the surplus being sold to European settlers at bargain basement prices. While not directly targeting FBAs, it set a precedent for land redistribution that would later affect Black landowners. Now, imagine being told, hey, we're just going to borrow your land and give it to somewhere else. Don't worry, it's for your own good. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. 7.3 million acres of Black Hills territory were taken from the Sioux, which is a copper-colored Native American tribe, many of whom were later reclassified as Negro or Black American. Now let's talk about heirs property, a legal quagmire that not even 23andMe could help you solve. When land is passed down without a will, it becomes jointly owned by all heirs, like a never-ending potluck where everyone brings confusion. This lack of clear ownership has led to significant land loss in Black communities, as any heir can force a sale, often below market value. Think of it as sharing a pizza with 20 cousins you didn't even know you had. Suddenly, your slice is looking pretty thin. Now let's tackle eminent domain, a fancy term for we're taking your land and there's nothing you can do about it. Historically, this power has been used to displace Black communities for highways, parks, or the ever-important parking lots.
In 1941, a small African-American community thrived in the shadow of the Pentagon in Arlington. It was known as Queen City. Its existence would end in 1942 when it was demolished to make room for the Pentagon's transportation corridor. But more than 80 years later, the story of this special community lives on.
We weren't that many, maybe probably not even 100 years out of slavery when this neighborhood first began to grow.
Queen City in 1940 was home to just over 900 people, and those who lived there were proud of the community they created.
This was another neighborhood. People were trying to live the American dream, but they had their own barbershops, stores, church.
And during a time of Jim Crow, it was home to Arlington's first all-Black fire station. But in 1942, the government, using eminent domain, demolished the town to create more roads into the Pentagon.
Imagine waking up one morning for your coffee and there's a bulldozer next door.
Now, amid the construction today where Columbia Pike meets the Pentagon, no signs of the town remain, but Taylor is telling its story.
People need to know some of the struggles that some of these people went through to make Arlington the beautiful, thriving county it is today.
Go back and do your history on Lake Lanier, Georgia, Central Park, New York, or even Rosewood, Florida. Eminent domain has been used as a weapon against the black community for decades, no, centuries at this point. Even today, in 2025, there is a prominent case which is ongoing of a railroad company trying to force black families to sell their land against their will. Think I'm making this up? Check this out.
I'm gonna let this happen to me.
"72-year-old Blaine Smith, his wife Diane, his brother Mark next door, and his wife Janet are fighting centuries of history and U.S. law that still say a privately owned railroad can knock on their door in Middle Georgia and tell them that they need to sell a 3/4-mile strip of their land that's been home to their family since slavery.
It's going to go up on the other side of the ponds and go on right down through that way, over here. Yeah.
And not to build a park or a train station that they too might use, but for a business interest that the railroad says will help everyone. A new 4-mile stretch of rail line that would lead to a rock quarry and a handful of other businesses on the other side of the Smith family property. Right now, the quarry uses trucks, but if the railroad gets its way, the new train line could make the quarry and the railroad a lot more money.
I feel that we were targeted. This particular community was targeted because it is a black community. We've been labeled poor and black for so long, and how are we going to fight back?
Is what's happening here racism?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes, it's racism. We didn't want to use that word. We didn't want to say that.
Trying to stay away from it.
But that's why we have a quarry right here in this neighborhood.
It's not for sale. My grandfather bought this place in 1928. You know, and one of the things that my daddy always told me was, don't you ever sell this place.
Recently, there's been a $2.2 billion payout to black farmers, a sum that sounds impressive until you realize it's like giving a thimble of water to a wilting plant. While it's a step in the right direction, it's hardly enough to compensate for decades of systemic land loss. It's like being handed a life jacket after the ship has already sunk. Thanks, but we're still wet. Now you might be wondering, why all this fuss over land? Because owning land is like having a golden goose that lays financial security eggs. It's the foundation of generational wealth, providing stability, income, and something to pass down. Unlike that collection of porcelain clowns your aunt left you. No offense, auntie. Without land, building wealth is like trying to grow a garden without soil. You're left with a handful of seeds and a lot of wishful thinking. Despite the rocky soil of history, foundational black Americans have shown incredible resilience, turning even the smallest plots into gardens of prosperity. By understanding the past, we can cultivate a future where land ownership is a right, not a rarity. So let's keep planting those seeds of change. If you made it this far in the video and you got any value from watching, be sure to hit the thumbs up button to support us in the algorithm. And if you haven't done so already, smash the subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, you can visit the links in our description if you really want to support the channel by checking out my new book, The Chronicles of Big Mistake. Again, the link is in description. With that being said, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. So you made it all the way to the end of the video, but you haven't hit the like button yet. Come on now. You're cheating me, you're cheating yourself. Go ahead, hit the like button. And while you're at it, you might as well smash the subscribe button so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. I make a video every day, a different topic, a different subject. They're all interesting, so you can check them all out by hitting the subscribe button and setting your notifications to all so you get an alert when I drop a video. There you go.